What is going on, everybody? I am Matt the Gadari Oyler, and this is the Undefeated by Choice podcast. And I want to give a special thanks to Foley's MMA for having us out here, giving us a home for the podcast, for both to do the sessions, because everybody who comes on the show has to do a session with me. That's the deal. You have to work out with me in order to come and be on the show and talk. So I want to thank Foley's MMA again for being so welcoming, having us out here. Dave Foley, he's the man. Look up Foley's MMA on the internet, wherever. You know how to do it. It's no secret. You know how to find it. Foley's MMA, come check it out. And the Undefeated by Choice podcast is a fitness podcast. I'm going to have everybody in the whole spectrum of fitness coming in. We're going to have athletes. We're going to have people doing weight loss journeys. We're going to have people related in fitness-based businesses. Locally here in Utah, we're going to try to build up a little fan base here. But if you're not from Utah, join in. It's going to be a great show. And this whole podcast is brought to you by myteamtrainer.com. Go check it out. It's to get that inner beast in you to come out. If you're an athlete, if you're doing weight loss, doesn't matter. You're competitive. You want to better yourself. You want to be better than the person next to you. So go get some speed and agility, strength and conditioning drills for only $5 a month. We're going to be posting stuff on there all the time, putting new stuff on there for you to get the best out of yourself and push yourself to that next level. And we're live. We're on, man.
What's up, brother?
I'm here with Allan Dubon, my dude. Go ahead. So we started out this whole podcast. Before we do anything, like I said in the opening, we have to work out first. So me and you just got to work out, and I worked you out. How was it?
Dude, it was awesome. I was able to get some good punches in. I got to admit, a few times I was thinking it was your head right there.
I was putting you into it. You're just like, okay, I've had enough of this dude. We were talking while we were out there, and I was like, you're obviously not like an aggressive man. This is like the gentlest man I've ever been around in my life. Even your hugs are just like so soft. But you were having some stank on those punches. Like you had some built up frustration. I was like, man, sometimes. Like, I don't care who you are. It's good to just punch something.
Oh, yeah. It felt pretty good.
Parents are always so scared to, like, let their kids hit because they're like, I don't want them to be super aggressive. But there's something to just, like, letting it out. Even if you're hitting a bag or you were just hitting some mitts on my hands and you were just, and I could feel it. I could feel the anger inside of you just coming out. And you're not an angry man. It's not like I have this pent-up anger all the time. But, like, I felt it. And I was like, good. This is a good thing.
Yeah.
You got a good sweat going. We did some footwork, drills. Have you ever done footwork drills before? I
bought a ladder once.
Yeah.
And I walked across it.
And you were like,
and then that
no.
was it.
But then you jumped on this and you're doing just fine.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, I always try to work with any type of athlete. Agility, like being able to move your feet no matter what sport you're doing is great. Like it's.
Well, and that was the cool part, right? Like having you just say the simple in, out.
Yeah.
Made a world of difference because that's what it was. Like I'd get confused and
you wanted to go so fast when you first did it, right?
Yeah.
You're like, I got this ladder, now I'm gonna fly through it.
Yep.
You got to set a rhythm. And then as you get better at it, it'll start to get faster. But like with you, so this is why I wanted to have you on. Is you're not out here to just be an athlete. You're not training for a fight. You're not doing anything. What are you doing?
I'm just trying to lose some weight and get fit, you know?
Exactly. And that's like, so I remember when I lost my weight, for anybody who's like just finding out who I am or anything, I used to weigh 280 pounds and I just was like, I decided to be a psycho one day and I was like, I'm going to lose it all. So I just went and lost, like 100 pounds. But the way I approached it was I was doing a weight loss thing, but I approached it like I was an athlete. Like, because I grew up playing football, I grew up playing sports, and so I have that, like, competitive nature, so, like, I'd see someone, I'm like, I got to do what they're doing, and I'm going to do it better than them. And, like, that's what people, like, to me, that's a mentality that's a great, like, asset to you when you step into the gym. If you walk in, you're like, okay, someone's doing something, and I'm going to learn how to do it, and then I'm going to learn how to do it better.
Yeah.
Like, you see someone, like, running on the treadmill, and you're like, oh, they're training for a marathon. I'm going to train for a marathon and I'm going to do it better. I'm going to get a better time than them. They've got a head start on me and I'm going to jump in and do it. So like, even when you're just doing weight loss, if you treat it like you're an athlete and you're competing,
yeah,
all of a sudden you have that drive. Like every single day you have a drive. You just pick someone, you're like, I'm going to beat them. Yeah. And like, I'm going to be better than them one day. And so it just like, it fuels it fuels your motivation to just go.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're doing this weight loss thing. First of all, how me and you met was strictly business, and then somehow we've formed this business friendship, but also like this motivation for like health.
Yeah.
Which was I wanted you to help me make money in business, but now I'm like I want to help you, help you lose weight or whatever. But before we get into that, you do have a personal trainer, right?
Yeah.
You're working with someone. So let's talk about that, because I think that's so good for anybody who just needs that little bit of guidance to just get a trainer right off the bat. Because they hold you accountable.
Yeah.
Whether they're teaching you something new or not, that doesn't matter. They hold you accountable. So let's talk about your trainer. What's her name?
So I call her Coach V. Her name is Nadine, and sorry, Coach V, I'm gonna slaughter your last name. It's like Volkovster, I think, something like that. So she just goes by V, right?
So is she like a tough Russian? Russian woman?
She looks pretty tough.
Yeah, and she's just like, I will break you. Like, as you walk in every day, she's just like, I will break you.
That part's funny. But no, you know what? The thing is, she's doing it in such a different way. My wife always told me, hey, take a few steps back. Don't try to kill it all at once. Kind of like what you did with me with the ladders. Like, I wanted to run.
Yeah.
You're like, no, let's get you a rhythm.
Step by step.
And so Coach V, that's what she does for me. She really reins me in, right? Scientifically, I know what I need to do to lose weight. I have a degree in medical laboratory sciences.
Yeah.
So it's not she still teaches me a bunch, but it's not the core knowledge, right?
Right.
I get it. Eat healthier, don't eat so many carbs, get out and move. The basics, we all kind of know that. What she does is helps me realize, okay, what things are we going to pinpoint? What are we going to do to get us going in a certain direction? When I fail, she'll say stuff like, if I had a donut, oh, I hope it tasted good.
I hope it was worth it.
And she doesn't mean it in the like, oh, I hope it's good.
Right.
And I was like, oh, did it taste good? Was it worth it? No, not really.
Yeah.
All right, well, next time, remember that. And, it's just a whole different mindset versus, hey, fatty, just keep pushing.
Yeah. I think that is, as a trainer, we run into that a lot. Like, we see a lot of failure. We see a lot of slip-ups because that's just the way people are. Like, you're like, I'm doing good. I can have this little cheat because, let's face it, food tastes delicious.
Yeah.
So we see that a lot. And what sets a good trainer apart from a bad trainer is a trainer who can hold you accountable for what you did, but then not completely discourage you from going forward. Like, it is a fine line, because you there is like that frustration, like, come on, but there's also like, but I get it, man. I work out every single day. I train all the time, and I cheat on my meal all the time because food just tastes so good. But I hold myself accountable. I'm like, okay, well, if I did this, now I'm going to have to put in this extra work for it, Yeah. And like, teaching a client how to do that is great. So, and that is what sets a good trainer apart from a bad trainer. So I'm glad Coach V is doing that with you. And Nick, can we get Coach V's information to pop up at this point? Like right there? Like right here? What about, no. Well, let's swing it in and put it here. So everybody, I gotta stop real quick and just say, I've got a producer, Nick Perez, who is a wizard. Nick, can you just put your face in the camera for like 2 seconds? Can you step around? I feel like, oh, he's got some. Oh, there we go. There's Nick. There's Nick right there. I'm going to be talking to Nick a lot, asking Nick to do things, and so I just want you to know who he is. I want everybody who listens to the podcast to understand that there is a master behind the scenes who's doing all of this. All I'm doing is talking. All I'm doing is doing what I do best, which is just flap my gums. There's actually a master technician behind all of this who's getting all this done, and I wouldn't be able to do it without him. And so, Nick, I love you already. Oh. So we've already said I'm talking too much. Nick needs me to be quiet. So I'm taking over the interview. So we're going to jump back over to Allan. So we're going to have Coach V's information again right here. Nick, you got it right here. Now get rid of it. Get back to Allan. So one thing, last time we met together, you had a success story that I was like, we got to tell that story. You got to tell that story. People need to hear the story because so many people relate to it. I relate to it. I had the exact same story, but then you told me you have another success story. So let's do the first one, the first exciting one we can jump on.
Okay.
The airplane one?
Yep, the airplane one. Okay. So I got a new job, and so I have to travel a lot for this job, and that panicked me right away. Not because of the getting on planes, but because of the getting on planes.
Yes.
If you're a big dude or a big lady, that belt.
It's terrifying.
Right? And my only goal was to not have to use the extender, right? And the first time on there, it was like trying to wrestle meat out of a lion's mouth.
Yeah.
You know, I was,
suck it in. Yeah.
I think I broke a rib or something.
Yeah. I can hold my breath for the entire flight. Yeah.
But, you know, I've been kind of talking to you, Coach V, and getting really good follow-up from everybody. And now I actually have some space where I can actually cinch it.
Yeah.
A couple inches, right? And so it's like, what? You know, so it's awesome.
I mean, anybody who's doing weight loss, anybody who has had that experience is like, they know exactly that feeling. I mean, when I was 280 pounds, it was the same thing, man. I would be on the flight and I would sit down and I'd be struggling to get the belt on, and then I'd look up and I'd see the person coming down the aisle and I'd see them see me and know that they have to sit next to me. And I'm just like, I'm sorry, I'm fat. Right. I'm sorry, I let myself go. Like, there's nothing you can say, and you know they're just like, I have to sit next to that guy.
Yeah,
this is gonna be a long flight. And so you have that like terror, but then when you have that successful moment when you like sit down and you're like, whoop, and then you're like, come on, sit down next to me, let's go. Like, I'll give you all the space you want. Like, those like victories are the ones that just like push you and motivate you and get you going.
Yeah.
One of my big ones. Well, one of the things that caused me to decide to do the weight loss was I went to Universal Studios and I had to sit in special roller coaster seats because I was too big to sit in the normal roller coaster seats. That to me, I was like, the world is accommodating for me overeating. The world is trying to accommodate for me just being so overweight. That's not right. Like, there's something like that, and it doesn't make you feel good, doesn't make you feel comfortable. Like, you know, everybody's saying, oh, that guy has to sit in the fat seats. You know? And I was and so that was one of the big motivations. I was like, I've got to fix this. Something has got to change. So it's similar like to the airplane, like not being able to fit in a roller coaster. Come on.
That's what really got me going. I had taken my kids last year to Lagoon, which is like a theme park here in Utah, and they have a kind of a mixed kid adult ride. It's a dragon, and it just goes forwards.
Puff the Magic Dragon?
No, another one, and it just goes in circles. And so I'm in there with my kids, and the guy's trying to close the gate, and it can barely latch, but not enough to the second latch. And it's gonna like bust my spleen out.
Right.
He's pushing, and I'm like, no, we're done.
Yeah.
So I had to do the walk of shame, you know, and just thinking, son of a,
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
not at him, at myself.
Right.
And then that was kind of like you said, kind of a big wake up call. Like, I'm too fat to fit in a ride that has ample space. Yeah. You know, so I really got hardcore and started talking to V. I still had a lot of bad habits, so she had to do a lot of mental work, if you will. Yeah. Get me to decide, I think, that I was worthy enough to go down that route. Other triggers, it's not just the food. I'll always love food, but it's how changing my relationship with that food. That was one of the biggest keys, because I love to work out. You know, you felt, you know, once I got going, the punching, I was like, I love that.
Next week I'm interviewing a heavyweight, and I might warn him, because you had some power behind your punches. I might tell him Allan Dubon is on his way up. He's got some power behind his punches, but you won't be a heavyweight because you're going to lose the weight. So you're going to be there. But I felt it, and you looked like you were enjoying it.
Yeah, no, it was good, and it, you know, got me tired and all that. But I like that. But that's not enough to outdo what I do in the kitchen, right? Right. And so or on the road or whatever. So I've been doing a lot better on the road. Because of your help, because of V's help, you know, I'm saying, hey, can I swap out the potatoes for broccoli, or the really good pilaf rice that I love, you know, and like all that kind of stuff. I've had to swap it out so that I can do better, and this is where the second victory comes in. Since working with V, I've dropped 6 pant sizes. 6? 6.
That's awesome. That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
Yeah. I got stuck. The only reason I found out is I got stuck in Dallas and I didn't pack pants. And because I always wear shorts. But it was like this freak week where it was really cold. Yeah. So I had to go buy some pants. And the biggest size they had was 44. And I'm like, oh, I know I can I can do a 48. Yeah. Might be able to squeeze a 46. Yeah. So I'm like praying to every deity. Yeah, who's ever listening. And, you know, pull it up, put it on. And it was still, I don't want to say snug, but it wasn't like oh, it's got extra room. It was just like, oh. And now I put them on, and this a couple weeks later, and they have a little bit of room.
Dude, I love that. That's awesome. I mean, that's one of those things is shopping. It's tough. And for you to be six pant sizes down, like I love those drastic, like big victories. Yeah. Like 6 is a big number.
It was crazy.
And dude, that's awesome. That's awesome, man. So let's talk about your diet. What kind of diet are you following? Because this is so important for people. Find a diet that works for you. So many people they're like, I'm going to commit to this diet, and there's no way that they're going to follow it. Like if I was, I can't think of a diet right now. I can't think of a diet right now that would absolutely break me. But if there was a diet that said I can't have any fruit, I wouldn't do it.
Right.
There's no possible way I can. I love fruit. So like, what kind of diet are you doing? What kind of food are you eating? How's it going? And let's talk about that.
So I'm not following anything strict as far as like strictly keto, strictly paleo.
Perfect.
V calls it the Allan diet because it's a little
for
bit
you.
of everything.
It's for you. Perfect. I love it.
And
nice job, Coach V.
And she does like science experiments on me. Like, so we'll try this. Oh, your blood sugar spiked. Let's try it one more time to see if it was just that, or if it was a mix of stuff. Okay. Yep. You can't eat that. Not right now.
Perfect.
And so your body doesn't respond well to this. And so we've done a lot of that. Even though I slip up every once in a while, we're doing so much more on the good side. When I came back from Dallas, I had a week where I was like, I don't even care. Cereal, bread.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, V.
You just gave up. Okay. It happens.
But then now I'm back to it. And so it's just like, okay. Because I felt so tired the past week doing all that. So going back, and I'm just really eating more of like the lean meats, lots of vegetables, and trying to stay away from like breads and rice. And for now, it doesn't have to be forever, but just kind of for now. So that's kind of the deal.
So there's 2 things I love about that. That you say she's doing experiments on me, because so many people are like, all right, this is what I want, and I want it to happen as fast as it's going to happen. I don't want any it's going to happen so fast. Yeah. But she's like, no, let's take our time doing it. Mm-hmm. We'll see what works, and we'll put this in. We'll take this out. Like that. There's so much, because so many people want to do it right now.
Right.
They just I want to be as thin as I can, as fast as I can. And that's definitely not my method. My method is, no, you're going to grind, you're going to work, you're going to sweat, you're going to cry, you're going to do all of this. So the fact that she's like, let's take our time doing it. There's no rush. There's no reason to rush. Let's do it healthy. Let's find what works for you that's going to last.
Well, and like you were saying, fruit, right? So she's cool with me having bananas. At first she's like, oh, I don't know, bananas spike. And for most people it does, right?
Yeah.
Spike your sugars and stuff. So we tried it. I had 2 bananas for breakfast, and I think a little bit of peanut butter or something.
That's delicious.
I love that.
I'll have that right now. I'll take that right now.
But it didn't spike me.
Uh-huh.
Like I went up like you should when you eat,
mm-hmm.
and then right back down, but it wasn't a crazy spike. Whereas other things that we thought were good or going to be okay just totally kill me. Like any bread of it, like you can go, I could eat the whole wheat like in my mouth.
Yeah, yeah.
Not even bread, and it'll spike me.
You just breathe it in, and you're like, what? Yeah.
So that's kind of what we're doing, and that's, I'm really liking it, even though I get frustrated, because I'm the guy, in my mind, I'm like all or nothing. That's how I run my business. Like, we're doing this, and I have the dedication to do the right steps every day. Even if I do little missteps, I'm doing so much good in the business that it keeps moving forward, that I'm kind of learning. It's very similar in the diet world. I'm not going to see the result today, tomorrow, maybe even next week. But, let's say the last 6 months, I've dropped 6 pant sizes. In the past 3 months, I've gained 3 inches on the belt, on the plane. And I've flown different airlines, so it's consistent. It's not just...
Yeah. You didn't just get lucky on the big boy airlines.
That's right.
Right.
So it's just kind of stuff like that is what really clicked with me. It's like, okay, it's starting to make sense, but I fought against it so much. And even now that it's starting to make sense, I still have where I was like, I had this week where I was like, screw it.
Yeah.
And not intentionally, but it just kind of turned into that.
Yeah.
I had one roll, and that killed it. Like, that was it.
Yeah. Well, what I love is what you said when you were just talking about this week. You're like, yeah, I gave up this week, and I was really tired this week. Mm-hmm. You noticed that your diet was affecting your energy levels.
Yeah.
Like to have eaten clean and be eating clean and feeling real good, and then all of a sudden you don't eat clean and you notice, oh my, that's affecting more of my life, more than just my weight, but just how I function. Like there's so many times I see people do that, and I'm like, oh, well, there's your answer right there. You want to feel better, then eat better, you know? But like, you know, it's definitely hard, but like having that recognition, you automatically made that association. You knew you were eating bad, and you weren't like, why am I so tired all of a sudden? I was doing good. You know why you were tired, because your diet wasn't on. So that is like recognizing that and having that feeling and being able to actually feel that, because I think a lot of people, they don't notice that they're slow. They don't notice that they're lethargic. They don't notice, that's just them. They think that's just, I'm just that. I'm just laid back. I'm just this. But like, no, your body wants to move. Your body wants to do things. And so if you don't have that energy, you got to look into it and figure out where the hang up is.
You know, when you say that, like, people are like, oh, why don't you get out and like just walk and do all, I don't want to.
Right.
I should say I didn't want to.
Right.
Now that I'm eating healthier, just eating healthier, all of a sudden I get this energy and I get restless to just sit down all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, I still sit more than I probably should, but a lot less than I used to.
Yeah.
So, you know, when I'm out traveling, I try to walk an hour a night on the treadmill. And the first few times my legs cramped up, you know, and it was just walking, right?
Yeah.
But now I can, this last trip I did, I talked to my wife for the last 45 minutes of my walk. She didn't even know I was on the treadmill. And I was going a little faster.
Because you weren't breathing heavily, you weren't labored, you're conditioned.
Yep. And so I was going even a little faster than normal, but not running yet, you know?
Yeah.
And it was just kind of nice that she's like, wait, you're at the gym in there? What? That's weird. It's so quiet, you know?
Nice. I like it. I love that because, I mean, being able to get to a point where you're conditioned and things are starting to feel comfortable is when working out becomes fun.
Yeah.
Because you don't think about how stressful it is. You don't think about how hard it is. You just do it, and then you start to enjoy it. You're like, oh, I feel good. I can think about other things. I don't have to think about how my legs are hurting and crapping up. But you're actually able to just
the 3 or 4
with it.
First times I did it, sucked.
Yeah.
And the first time I only did a half hour.
Yeah.
And I cramped.
Yeah.
The next day I did 45. And then every time after that, I think I've almost without fail done a full hour.
Yeah.
Or at least 45 minutes, you know.
I love it.
And so it's just
that's how it builds up. Yep.
Yeah.
Just build up to it. I was just talking to a guy on this, like I say, oh, you're going to start to enjoy it. Let me be fully honest. You know, I was just talking to a guy at Best Buy the other day, and he was talking about, we were talking about fitness, and I said something about running and how I don't really enjoy it. He said, do you like running? And I was like, no. And he's like, wait, so you don't ever love running? And I was like, no, I don't. No. There's no loving running, you know? Like, but what I love is the accomplishment. Like, I love that I'm in my run and I'm like, oh, this sucks. Like, it gets to a point. At the first, I'm like, no, running's good. It feels good. But then towards the end of my run, I'm always like, this is torture. Why am I doing this? But then I get this like competitive athlete mindset that's like, but I'm pushing myself. Like, this sucks, but I'm going to get it done, and I'm going to finish this run, and then I start to get excited. So the running itself, like, you may never love running. That's fine. Learn to find something to love in the run.
Right.
Like, learn to find something. And that's, I think, so many of us stray away from that. We get scared. We get nervous about pushing ourselves because, well, I don't like that. It's uncomfortable. But if you can find a way to trick your mind into saying, but this is good.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden you just do it. You know, it's you can think negative about anything. I can think negative about sitting here. I can be like, I hate sitting, but I'm accomplishing something, you know? like you find a way. And that's always what I'm telling people, like, find a way to enjoy it. Even if it's just I'm pushing myself when I shouldn't be, or I'm pushing myself when I don't want to.
Yeah. Well, that's what those walks became every night was I had to do it. Like, I'm out away from my family anyway, so I'm not going to be out partying or anything, you know? Yeah. And so it's like, well, I can either sit on my bed in the hotel and watch old reruns of something. Yeah. Or I can make progress when I'm not taking time away from my family because I'm already gone, so it's not extra time, like, gone. Right. And, I don't have to worry about what the kids are doing or whatever. I just go and walk. and even the nights I didn't want to, I was like, all right. And one night I didn't do it that night, and I dreamt about it.
Yeah.
And so that morning I got up extra early and went and walked an hour, and then I still walked my hour that night.
You're getting it, man.
You know, because I had to.
Yeah.
Like, it became.
It's part of your mind. It's part of your mind now.
Yeah.
So you just said something that it's funny because it leads into what I was thinking about just last night, thinking about what we were going to talk about, because both of us are fathers.
Yeah.
And you said, you know, I'm already away, so I'm not taking extra time away to exercise. And I think so many parents run into that problem. They're like, I can't go to the gym because I have kids. I can't spend time on the treadmill because I got to take care of my kids. But yesterday I was at the park with my daughter, and I look over and this lady is laying on the grass reading a book while her two kids are on the playground. And I'm on the playground with my daughter. And I'm having to pick her up and put her on the slide so she can climb up the slide, you know, because she's too small to climb up the ladder, but she can climb up the little steps and then go down the slide. And we probably went around 785 times. And I was like, this is a workout. Like, I am working out. Like, I was almost starting to get a sweat because I would put her up, and then she doesn't weigh that much, but over and over and over again. Yeah. And then she's going down, and little kids can go forever. So parents, like, if you don't think that you can work out with your kids around, like, try to keep up with your kid. Like, your kids are endless bound, just like they're just these energy balls that won't stop. So just find a way to work out with your kids. Like, that wasn't like, I didn't go to the gym. I wasn't like pouring out sweat and take pre-workout, need to drink a protein shake after. But I was like, if a parent just did that, and I'm having quality time with my kid.
Right.
I'm having this quality, like, wonderful, beautiful time with my child, but I'm able to get exercise out of it as well. And you know, sadly, you know, there's another parent there that's just reading a book while their kids are playing. Yeah. It's like, get up in here. Like, get up in here with your kids. Like, try to keep up with your kids. Like, that's an excellent way. That's an excellent tip to anybody who wants to, like, get into, like, I don't have enough time for my kids. Yeah, well, or I don't have enough time to work out because of my kids. Okay, then use your kids. Right. Use your kids as a platform to jump off.
Well, and my kids always want to go for a walk, so that works out.
Yeah.
You know.
Involve them.
Yeah, or let them play on the playground. I'll walk around the big park, you know, and I can still kind of watch them the whole time.
Yeah.
But they're doing their thing. And, you know, you're talking about keeping up with your kids. My second daughter, she's wanted a Fitbit for so long, so she just got one. And she's doing 30,000 step days on the regular.
Yeah, yeah. Well, she does have littler steps, so it does take her 3 times the amount to get where you're... But no, that's awesome.
But they're
always
awesome.
And she's counting them, and she's keeping track of it. Good. Like, you get your kids health conscious. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Like, when me and luckily, you know, I have the help of my ex-wife as well, who's super into, like, health and fitness. So we feed our daughter really good, but we all, you know, we also let her have the treats. We're not trying to just be like, we got this healthy baby, you know.
Right,
of course,
right.
You know what I mean. But you know, but she loves going out and running. She loves going out and playing. She has so much energy, and I know it's because we take care of how she eats. We take care of, and so again, it plays into it. We're feeding her so that she feels good and has more energy, and because of that, we're staying in shape by chasing her around. Yeah. Like it feeds off one another. If I just fed her crap, she'd be tired and lethargic all the time, just laying around. Then I could too, but now I'm forced.
Yeah, well, and now that I've kind of started eating better and all that, I am chasing my kids more. I am, you know, playing around with them more. And that's really the goal, right? Like, the aesthetic part.
Yeah.
My wife's stuck with me, right?
Yeah. She's waiting for thick and thin. She's in it to the end.
But you know what I mean? Like, so it's not just this, like, oh, I want to look like the hot dad bod, you know? Yeah. Like, I really, I want to be able to run with my kids more than twice around the front yard. Yeah. And not be out of breath, you know?
Yeah.
Just simple stuff like that really makes a big difference for them. You know, we were at Disney last month, or 2 months ago. Sorry about that. We were at Disney about 2 months ago, and we had finished the whole day. And when you're there, you walk miles and miles and miles.
Yes.
And so we were all kind of walking back to the hotel. Well, the other family we were with had a little kid, and he plays this game where he come up and punch my leg and yell, "Chicken!" And then he runs, right?
Yeah.
So I started to play with him and, like, run away from him. And the whole way back, I would run to where he couldn't catch me most of the time.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like heavy running, but it was just, enough.
Yeah, enough.
And my buddy, who, they're our neighbors, and he still comments, like, he's like, I don't know where you got that energy from.
It's Disneyland. It's magic. It's the Magic
extra.
Kingdom, man.
Yeah. But I don't think if I had been eating totally like crap, now it's Disney, we're eating a little bit of crap.
Yeah. Giant turkey legs. Yeah.
But if I had been before that, if I had been eating like I'd been eating, then I wouldn't have had the energy to do that.
So you're just seeing victories left and right. Everywhere you turn, you're seeing these victories. That's awesome. I mean, and that's that motivation, I think, that keeps you. I mean, because you're looking good, man. From the first time I saw you to now, I mean, you're looking great.
Thanks, bro.
You're killing it. Talking about all this involvement with your kid, let's briefly talk about another thing you and I have talked about quite a bit, which is business. Because you're very adamant, like I am, to make sure your kids are involved with what you're doing. Like before this podcast started, my daughter was here with us, running around while you were working out. Like I've one of my greatest victories, I think, is that I've created a life to where I can have my daughter with me a lot of the time. So training, I have no problem going out training a group of athletes to have my daughter in my arm. You know, like she's a part of my life, a part of my business. And I know I've talked to you briefly about how you've just so first of all, let's talk about what you do for a living, and then how you have I don't know, you've involved your kids, but you've let your people that you work with know I have kids and they're a part of my life. They're not hiding. So go ahead. What do you do for a living?
Yeah. So, I've got a sales job, the normal 9 to 5 kind of thing. But then I also run a web design and business consulting company. And then I help people kind of get started and going, which is how
That's how we met. Yeah.
Because
if you haven't noticed, I'm trying to do something here.
But the cool thing is I'll do coaching via Zoom a lot. So just, face to face, but online. And sometimes my kids, like my oldest daughter, her biggest thing is she likes to serve. And so she knows that when you talk a lot, you want a drink, right? So sometimes in the middle of my coaching, she'll bring me a drink. And at first I kind of worried about it. I was like, what? And then I was like, no, I've built this thing up. When I first started it, the same daughter, she'd ride with me in the little car seat thing, and I'd carry her into a meeting with that, and she'd play, or she'd come out, or whatever, and I'd close deals. Yeah. Like that, kind of like you're saying, under the arm,
Mm-hmm.
And so now, sometimes people see, and I'll be like, oh yeah, that was my daughter. She brought me a drink, or hold on one second, sorry. Yeah, no, go ahead and do that. And my kids are pretty good about not interrupting.
Right.
So I know that if they need something, in their mind, it's a little more important. And you know what? I've not had anybody complain. People are always like, dude, that's so cool that your kids can be part of this. And my daughters, they want to start a Spanish speaking podcast. They don't know what yet, but that, because they're in a class to learn Spanish.
Uh-huh.
My son wants to do something maybe with Minecraft. Just kind of cool to see them look at different avenues that I didn't have growing up, right? Coming from poor immigrant parents, it was go to school so that maybe we can break out of this thing.
Yeah.
Right? And now they can see that, heck, you might be able to make a living selling $5 subscriptions to agility work.
MyTeamTrainer.com.
And, or you can do a podcast and be recognized for this, or get sponsors here, or do that. There's so much out there that we can do, that I think that it's just amazing that they have that point of view, because I was able to take a step. Your daughter's going to have a different view of life. She may still go to school, so I'm not crapping on school, right?
Right.
I have a degree in medical laboratory sciences, and that served me very well. But I also have different options as well. Something's going wrong at work, I just sell more websites, right? Or sell more consulting. And I can do it for fun and still make a great living with that, Yeah,
I love that the whole scenery of business is changing. Mm-hmm. It used to be a certain way, and like you just said, if something's not going good here, well, I use this. The ability to have multiple businesses and multiple sources of income is greater than it's ever been.
Yeah.
And the opportunity is greater than it's ever been. I mean, you just said coming from immigrant parents, their scenery of business, they were probably stuck not that great at jobs.
Nope.
Not being able to do that great, not being able to do that much because they're immigrants and they the English is originally your second language, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Now it's your primary language.
It is.
But so you grew up with parents who didn't speak English.
Yeah. Not very well, anyway.
Their opportunities were so limited. Now, like you said, my daughters want to start a Spanish speaking podcast. They're going to be seen. They could be seen across the world, and you know, and talking to little girls in Mexico, and they have this opportunity that has never been afforded before. And as you were talking earlier, you know, you're scared to have your kids with you, but now with, you know, technology as it is, so many people work from home. So yeah, now we understand kids are a part of the life.
Right.
You know, when you know when we were young, you know, our parents went to work. And so we were at home. So their bosses didn't even know if they had kids or not.
Right.
But now more people are working from home. And so now all of a sudden family is becoming more important and actually becoming a part of business. You know, like you said, you're closing a deal now with the kid on your lap and people are cool with it. They get it. Now your kids get to spend more time with you, more quality time with you. It's just like this era. People are so worried about like this era where we're going. And yeah, there's a lot of bad things happening in society right now. There's no joke. There's no two ways around that. But there are so many good things that are happening that if we focus on those, we can really start to see like how we can have a positive change. Like your kids growing up with an immigrant grandparents, having able to see a successful father who was able to change around his fortune, and now they have all the opportunities in the world. Like that is, to me, that's just like a beautiful sign of where we are, where we can go. Like right now, I think it's a scale. I think we can go one way or the other, like with the way our society is and just like what's going on in the world today. If we focus on the good, if we start focusing on the positive and all the good opportunities that we have, man, this world is our oyster. Like everything's.
I couldn't agree more.
Everything's just right at our fingertips.
I couldn't agree more. Right. So, you know, I could have looked at, oh, we're poor, I'm brown in a quote unquote white world. Yeah. Right.
Well, Utah, white.
Utah's very white.
White.
You know, but I could have looked at all that as negative things, right? And really, it's just I chose not to focus on that, and it doesn't mean that I never experienced racism or anything. Yeah, it happened, right? But I can either sit and cry about it, or I can go do something and change, right? So now, like you said, I'm at a different playing field that allows me to do a lot of different things, and so I'm not that poor immigrant kid anymore. You know, I mean, I was born in the States, but you know, I'm not that little poor just brown kid. You know. Yeah. Another perfect example, real quick. My brother, him and his daughter. Well, really, it's his daughter. He's just doing the adult stuff on the back. You know, started their own clothing brand. You know, we'll just give him a shout out, Millie Kids. Give Nick
the information for Millie Kids.
Get it to you. Okay. But you know, so she does this thing about like for entrepreneur kids and like self-esteem and like she's doing all this cool stuff, and you know, if you look at my brother's background, you know, he had gotten into some trouble as a teen and youth, right? Yeah. And so with the old model, he may have never been able to crawl out, right? Right. But now there's so many options that now he's really top mechanic in what he does. He's doing some online stuff. He's doing this here. His daughter's doing something, you know, so it's just really cool that there's so many options. You know, I mean, he had to straighten up first to make it work. Right. But sometimes people couldn't straighten up because they didn't have options. Right. They knew one way and that was what fed them, and then that's it. Right. They couldn't move.
So what do you attribute those types of mindsets to? Obviously, it's a family thing. You and your brother both have it. Because I mean, so many people grow up in terrible circumstances or just not ideal circumstances, and you have the people who one or the other. They either choose to make greatness or they choose to just let circumstance dictate their life. Now, obviously, you haven't had the easiest life. Right. And me and you have talked in length about your childhood, and just kind of the how a lot of people would have in your situation would have just dumped and said, whatever, my life sucks, I'm going to join a gang or do whatever. But you were like, no, we're going to make something of myself. Like I'm going to be a good father to my children. And I'm going to do like, what do you attribute to that? How did you make that decision?
I think even the people who have gone down that other path started out wanting to make that decision, but they wanted to run it fast. They wanted to, get all the results right now. Like for me, another thing, my dad took off on us, right? So, some people just like, oh, well, my dad's gone, I can't do anything. I took it the other way and realized, all of a sudden I had to be the quote unquote man of the house. So I was translating for my mom. She spoke some English by this point, but her accent was still heavy, just all the stuff, right? So I had to translate. I had to get myself places. I was a part of a program called Upward Bound here at Weber State.
Okay.
And Saturdays they did study hall, right? What kid wants to go to freaking study hall? Nobody.
No grown-up wants to go to study hall. I don't want to go to study hall.
And my mom didn't drive, so I would have to take 2 buses and leave several hours earlier to get up here to Ogden to then take another bus to Weber State so that I could study for 4 hours, so that then I could turn around and go home another 2 hours, right? And it was just, I didn't want to be stuck in that same spot.
Right.
I appreciated everything my mom did,
mm-hmm.
but I didn't want to be a factory worker.
Right.
I didn't want to be stuck making just over minimum wage, right? Because I saw the life that I had. And not that it's all about money, but some of those things really get you to where you can have more choices, right? And so same with the relationship, right? With being a dad. I didn't want that to be, I didn't want the things that my dad had done or not done to be things that my kids went through, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of people see that, but then they get trapped and start doing the same thing over and over again, right? Kids that come from dads that leave sometimes turn into dads that leave,
mm-hmm.
right? And I'm not saying that divorces don't happen, things like that. That can be whatever it is, but you're a prime example of that. You just talked about your ex-wife. You spoke very nicely of her, right? Most people don't do that.
Yeah.
And you guys split up for whatever reason, but you're still there for your daughter. You're being a daddy, right? So the relationship part can be whatever it is,
right?
But you can still be an amazing dad,
right?
My brother-in-law, him and his wife had split up, and so he's got a son with her. He would drive 2 hours to watch a crappy baseball game. Because as much as you love your kids, little kid baseball games
terrible.
Suck, right?
Yeah. Unless they go to myteamtrainer.com and they get their speed and agility drills.
But he would drive, an hour and a half to go watch his son play. He didn't have to. It wasn't his week or weekend or however they split it up. But I'll tell you what, like knowing his son and seeing how he's grown up to be a fine young man, a lot of that comes into play that his mom did well and his dad did well. Yeah. And whatever they had in between them, none of us really know.
Right.
Like, they kept it to be their thing.
It is their thing. It's their thing. That's what to talk on my situation, that's what it was. Me and my ex-wife split, and we had a conversation where I just said, listen, you and I are never going to agree on what happened. We're never going to agree. It doesn't matter. All that matters is our little girl. And she's 100% like, of course, yes, she is the only thing that matters. That is the only thing that matters. And so we've been able to have this co-parenting team that is awesome. Yeah. We work so well together because we know what matters is this little girl. Yep. And whatever happened between us is what happened between us. No one else's business. Yep. And all that matters is that we take care of this little girl. And both of us are completely on board with that. Yep. And so many people miss that boat. They say that that's what they're doing, but then they really want to jab at each other. They want to get to each other, and they want, and her and I we don't have that desire to bring each other down. We both understand that if we are excelling, then we're going to raise our daughter in a better environment. Yeah. I know that if she's happy, she's going to come home happy, and she's going to be happy around my daughter, and my daughter's going to feel love and feel that happiness, and vice versa. She knows that if I'm successful, so we support each other. If she's like, Matt, I've got a meeting I have to go to, I'm like, go, I got her. And it's the same thing. I know I can call her at any time and say, hey, I've got to go do this. Can you watch Maddie for a little bit? Boom. I know she's got my back. Right. And that is just, for so many parents, they miss that because either, I'm trying to get myself successful, so you gotta watch her or whatever, or it's you have that anger towards the person that you split with, and so you're like, I'm gonna try to sabotage them by, I won't watch my daughter. I'm not gonna watch her. I've got something going on. Right. It's easy. It really is. Like, people, it's not hard. It's not hard. Care about other people. Right. As much as we didn't get along, I care about her as a person. You know, I want people to be happy. And so, and she's the mother of my child. Like, I want my child to be in a loving, happy household. So if I can do anything to support her, I'm going to.
Yep.
And I know it's the same the other way around. And you know, and I sit back because I don't ever want to get into other people's business, but I see so many parents and I'm just like, guys, that's not how you do it. Right. That's not how you do it. Believe me, I know what divorce is. I've been through it. I know the feelings that are involved. What's important? It's the little kids, man. It's your family. And now you're a team. You know, you're not married anymore, but you're still a team.
Yep.
You're still a team, so you got to make it work.
I love it, dude.
And so, there was something else. There was something you had said that I was gonna jump on, but now it slipped me. So, no. But you know, I think this is a good place to kind of wrap it up. We've been talking for a while, man. We've been talking for a while. It didn't even feel like that. That's my big thing is, man, I get talking, and that's why I'm like, I gotta get paid. I gotta find a way to be successful off of talking, because I could just talk forever. Do you have anything you want to pitch? Anything you want to talk about? Anything you want us to throw up?
You know, if you're interested in finding more about what I do, allandubon.com, and that's right there, yeah. So allandubon.com, and you can find me on all social media, just Allan Dubon, Allan, is the first name, so yeah. All
right, you're my dude, man. Thank you so much for being on my first episode. Nicholas, thank you so much for going to be putting this all together. You're my dude. Everybody else, subscribe, follow, share. Be good to yourself. Be good to each other. I love you. And make sure you go and follow us on all our forms of social media. Make sure you like and subscribe and share. Check out all our videos. And especially, go to the website.